Hello, my kinder and first leaders. Welcome to week number 5. This week, we are jumping into forgiveness and forgiving others. And we are going with a really cool story of how Jesus forgives Peter. And so, if you remember, Peter denied Jesus 3 times. Jesus even warned him that he was going to do exactly that. And then basically everything happens. He resurrects from the dead. And then Jesus finds Peter, and while he's fishing, and as he's fishing, he's like, do you love me? Do you love me? Do you love me? And Peter keeps saying yes, 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 but responding in different words. And anyway, all of this goes on to be Jesus ultimately forgives Peter. And then Peter becomes a really powerful person to build this church on. And so he was such a core foundation for what the church became. And so as we do this, forgiveness is really, really important. And so this week, we're going to be focusing a lot on that. And as we do this, we are doing the bottom line of put others first by making things right. And so this will be really good for them to be honorable and truthful and just making things right in general, basically as they go throughout life. And so there's going to be a lot of good examples that you can bring out in this for making something right. But first, we're going to start with a little hand motions, okay? A little sign language over here. And so we have put others first. And so what you're going to do is you're going to teach a couple of the children that are in there when it's early how to do this. So put, and then others, and then first. And what we're doing with this is we are teaching them this so that they can then teach others when they start to arrive and come into the room and stuff like that. And so encouraging the kids to get to know each other a little bit, but also to teach each other in these moments of ways that they can, put others first. And so they're putting others first by teaching them what's actually going on, okay? Then this next one, you have some spoons and some fish. And what you're doing with this is because in the story, we're talking about how the disciples were fishing again, and then Jesus finds them on the shore and tells them to cast their nets again, and then they pull up way too many fish and all this stuff. Anyway, it was all to prove that it was Jesus again. But through that, we're going to do an activity where you're just passing the fish around in a circle. So everyone will get a spoon, and then you're basically just passing the fish, trying not to drop the fish. But if you do drop the fish, then there is a line of it's okay, we forgive you. That's kind of the line we want to focus on today. And not that they sinned or did anything wrong by dropping the fish, but just a practice of forgiveness, a practice of getting them to understand what it means to, something wrong happened or something happened the way that it wasn't supposed to. And so we're going to forgive that person. It's not about shaming them. It's not about hurting them. It's not about being mean to them, anything like that. And so as children are dropping the fish and whatnot, it'll happen to a lot of them. So it's not going to be a singled out thing, but keep going to where a couple of children do that and then go off into the large group time after that, okay? Then you're going to hear the story. When you come back, we're doing a put others first activity page, which is the same thing as the motions again. And so do that again from activity 1, okay? And then what you're doing is you're praying together, reminded of those motions and putting others first, right? And so as we do that, then there's a couple of things that you can say on there too, and talk about how to make things right while you're doing this. So how do you make things right? I can forgive others. I can say I'm sorry. Yes, you can make things right by saying you're sorry, but you can also make things right by forgiving others when they say or do something that hurts you or your feelings, right? And so that's the big thing, is letting go of this hurt and pain that we have sometimes when people do something wrong against us. And then go ahead and pray after that as well, thanking God that he forgives us, right? And that we can then also forgive others. So he set that example for us, and so now we can give that and show that to others around us. Next, you have some cards, and you have a Jesus Forgives You activity page. And basically what you're doing with this is you're going to put these around the room, okay? It's basically just different objects and things from the story, okay? And then as you're reading the script that goes along with this, then they are supposed to run whenever they hear that word to that side of the room, okay? So it's an active, engaging way for them to really be paying attention to the words in the story, and then actually run and go, run over to the other side when they hear it. So you have net, you have boat, and things like that. So every time you say those in the script, as you're recapping the story, they'll be able to run to that object. And then this last one, you basically just go ahead and open up the Bibles and try to read some of these things with some of the things with them. Have them follow along. I know that they're not great at reading yet, but they are definitely developing that skill, and so they should be able to kind of follow along if you read a little slow and whatnot with the different words and things within the Bible. Okay, and use the NIV Bibles that we have in there. I think that'll just be the easiest if you all have the matching ones, and so that'll be a good way for you guys to work on it together. And then there is a wiggle worm activity that goes along with this too. And basically with this wiggle worm activity, you are having everyone line up in one line, and then the child that's in front will take their hand and go in between their legs and go and hold the right hand of the person behind them, and then it creates this big worm, and then you kind of have to worm around the whole room and everything. But here's the thing, when they disconnect, then that's when you're like, hey, we forgive you, no worries, let's connect back together and just do it again, right? And so that's kind of the big point of, again, putting others first and forgiving them all in that big process, okay? And that's for this week, guys. Thank you so much for all that you guys do. Y'all are amazing. We'll see you guys in a little bit.